Oh. Welcome to the Winning Move podcast. I'm your host, Stratton Brown. I interview successful entrepreneurs from around the world to see what moves they've made in their lives to get successful and, more importantly, stay successful. I'm here to make sure you can create a better life for you and your family. Let's tune in. Welcome to the Winning Move podcast. I'm your host, Stratton Brown. We have one of my good friends, Ken Abdula, on today. Thank you so much for coming on, Ken. We're going to talk about some good stuff today.
I love it.
Let's start off, bro. Introduce yourself. What are you about?
Awesome, man. I appreciate you bringing me on, man. It means the world to me for sure. It's been a long time. I'm Ken Abdula. I'm out of Tampa, Florida. I don't really know what I would consider or call myself. I kind of do everything, but I'm just happy to be here with you, man.
Hell yeah. All right, bro. So, I mean, we can start off where you wanted to start off.
What's that?
We can start off with that quote that I was telling you before this.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, dude, when you start to really just talk about like how every entrepreneur, like we run into these walls, we start to ask ourselves, like, do I hate what I'm doing, or do I hate the fact that I don't know how to get it to the next level? Am I not prepared? Like, you said that, and I was like, dude, I don't think that is just you. Like, I mean, fuck, 3 weeks ago we'd have done this, man, I might have been in tears. Like, it's just like we're on that roller coaster. And what's interesting, man, is one of my mentors, I told him, I was like, dude, does a roller coaster ever end? Like, do we ever get off of it?
Hell no, bro.
We never get off the roller coaster. It just gets easier. Like, now it's like when we first get on the roller coaster, we're freaking the fuck out. And now we're at this point, we're like, we got one hand on the rail and one hand up, type deal. But I think that's powerful, man. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. But I guess I was like, really, I made like a YouTube video about it because I was just like, all right, so I feel I'm at a crossroads to where, like, yeah, like I don't really like this, blah, blah, blah. But then I saw, like, okay, I made the pivot into what we're doing now and left our wholesaling business somewhat on autopilot.
Yeah.
But now I'm like looking and analyzing myself. I was like, well, like your one crossroad at your wholesaling company was really more traffic and then training a sales team. And then the bottleneck, let's say, for call magicians is more traffic and building a sales team. So like you're the common denominator here. Right. And so either you're going to bitch out because you ran into something that you're not good at, or you just learn a new skill and then take it to the next level, because that's all this is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't really see it that way. Or you quit or you sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like either way, you have to find a way.
100%. I really think, like, I don't know that you need to find a way. I mean, let me strike that. So you definitely have to find a way, but there's always, like, when you get into that zone, dude, where you just get locked the fuck in on, man, I've got this problem I need to solve. We stop thinking outside of the box. Thinking outside of the box is what got us to where we're at. We didn't follow the fucking mold, but then we get tunnel vision when we're freaking the fuck out about a problem that we need to solve. So I was running the same thing in my real estate company. The real estate company for me it literally gave me my start. Real estate was fucking amazing, but I had this fucking problem where it was like, I'd spend the money, I'd mark it, I'd break it, I'd fix it, I'd do it again. It went from $2,000 a month to $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month to $30,000 a month. At my height, I was spending $100,000, $150,000 a month in marketing. And then I hit this plateau where I couldn't make money. So rather than shutting it down and stopping, like, we were just talking about, or trying to find it, I literally was like, how do I stop pounding my head against the wall? How do I stop spending so much money and being inside of this fucking thing that I think I hate, but it gave me everything that I have? So what we ended up doing is we brought in an operator. We gave them the entire operation and said, look, we'll drive marketing, we'll drive traffic, you handle the team, we'll speak once a week, Monday, and I want nothing to do with this company. All your business that you're currently doing, keep doing. It's yours. I want nothing to do with it. Everything that I bring and add value to, give me 50%. We'll talk once a week. Literally got the biggest shit off of my back, solved a major problem. We're doing more money without us in the business. So rather than...
That's what I did with my real estate company.
So why can't you do the same thing now instead of beating your fucking head against the wall?
You can't do that and sell it.
Okay, so you're looking
You
for
know
an
what I'm
exit.
saying? Like if I'm gonna take this to the next level, like it's enterprise value. And
Yeah.
it's not like I'd shut it down or sell it, but then like I started another company and I just
Mhm.
shut that one down because like, bro, it's just a fucking distraction.
Yeah,
And then you weren't really driving any traffic to that one either, and it became like a redheaded stepchild that didn't get fed. It's just
100%.
over there fucking starving.
Dude, every fucking buddy that is chasing multiple businesses and multiple rabbits because it's a fucking cool thing to do,
You can't do it.
you gotta set fucking roots, dude.
You can't. I'm not a big. I think it's bad with people talking like, oh yeah, well I own like 20, 30, 40 different companies. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
what the fuck do you do if you're making less than $100 million a year? That doesn't make any sense.
That's dude, at one point I was running 16 different operations, and on paper I looked fucking fantastic. I had toys, I had all kinds of shit, but I was fucking miserable, dude. I was depressed. No, like my staff, I fucking couldn't keep staff for nothing because I couldn't focus. I
But
was
yeah, you're
here, I
not
was there.
fucking there, dude.
I
Like
scaled the chaos, dude.
you scale the chaos, you're not there. And then if you're running 16 operations, two of them are bringing in money, like
Yeah,
significant money. The rest of them are just redheaded stepchilds that occupy mind space.
100%. That's
Unless
exactly
you're so like Neil Patel, and DM's good at this, but again, like DM steps in, it's passive. And
right,
like I own the company, there's already a CEO in place. I'm cool. Like
right,
I learned this from Neil Patel to where he has like that DM mindset to where all he does, he looks at it, he's like, okay, well, I know I can drive X amount of traffic to it. I will not start it unless I have a CEO in place. So
right.
he won't buy anything unless there's a CEO in place or start it without a CEO in place. And then
That's the
from there, it's
move.
100% passive. But that again, that's a completely different thing than most of the people. Anybody on social media who's bragging about the amount of businesses they have and they're not doing more than like $100 million a year, they're
Yeah.
lying. Well, they're not lying, but it's just don't let it distract you. Is the best thing I can say.
I think it's a good call, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with running and owning multiple companies by any means or
There's
any
something wrong with
potentially.
running and owning multiple companies. Right there
There's
is.
some there's definitely levels to the shit though, is what I'm getting at. Like
Exactly.
different levels, different devils. So when I see somebody that 4 years ago was in my DMs, like, yo, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? And they didn't take any of the advice. And then I see them just doing dumb, silly shit. And it's like, dude, like I want you to win. Just there's nothing wrong with being loud. There's nothing wrong with, but like, don't fucking lie about it either. You know what I'm saying? So like when I
Mhm.
see the 25 companies, the 30 companies, like, cool. Is it real though? Like,
No.
are you really doing real business? Are you really like there's a couple that are probably doing well, but it's it's a little different when you own 16 companies or when you're a part of 16 companies. Like I own 2 companies. I'm a part of multiple companies. I don't put those on my sheet and fucking scream out. I run 35 companies. I don't. I run one really good and the second one's passive that I probably don't even need to be fucking with, to be honest.
I think of the Hormozy model. So if you guys don't know, I'm an Alex Hormozy fucking fanboy. Um,
Hermosi's the man, dude.
Bro, Hormozy's the man. And the
Yeah,
only reason he even had 3 different companies at a time is because there was a direct sell into what he was already selling,
right,
right? And so the supplement company, he just sold it to all the gym owners and they sold it for him, all affiliate based. No like new marketing that he had to learn, nothing else. It's like pretty plug and play drop ship model.
right.
Super simple. And then it's just add on. And then his software company, same thing. He sold into everything that was already there. So he
Right.
sold to all his current customers and everything else, and then he had Gym Launch on top of that. So yes, he had 3 different companies that exited for 8 figures, but the complexity of each company was really not there because it was all in one industry, and it all,
Well,
like, was just a bolt on to itself to where you could probably sell one conglomerate.
it's such a you hit it right on the head, man. Like I literally there's a handful of individuals that I know that are successfully running multiple businesses, but it's not necessarily multiple businesses. It's the data company feeding the real estate company that feeds,
Exactly.
this funnel, this funnel. Sure, they're multiple companies, but it's one company. Like Prosper Up, that company, it has 4 different umbrellas in it, but they all feed my other company. So it's the same shit. It's
Yeah, they're
literally
just different branches, dude.
but it's one fucking company. That's all it is. And literally, man, like between those 4 brands or one brand, 4 companies, whatever you want to call it, like my staff is 4 people. Like, it's
That makes
not.
it a lot easier, bro.
Yeah, dude, at the height, I had 41 employees, and I wanted to fucking shoot my face. Like,
Bro.
I couldn't. That's why I was so intrigued when you were talking about, like, your company. I was like, "Dude, you have so much, and you're running it so well." And then when I hear you, like, beating your head against the wall, it's like, dude, you're like, you gotta give yourself more credit, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, and I think it's and Mark tells me this shit all the time, like, you're just too involved. You're just
Yeah.
like, you need to make another hire and then fucking keep on pushing. And someone's saying, "Are you guys calling people out?" I mean, I'm not calling people out, but I mean, word to the wise, the hyper-focused entrepreneur wins. Elon Musk is the only entrepreneur ever to have 2 Fortune 500 companies that he's currently standing CEO of, ever, period, end of story.
Did you know that, I don't wanna derail us, but so we were talking earlier before we started, like, the government contract side. Like, I
Yeah,
pushed into that space aggressively. So Elon got bailed out. Well, not bailed,
by the
bailed out.
government. Government's
Yeah,
his biggest on both companies.
he got a big ass government contract, and that's actually what piqued my interest. I'm like, damn. So the government bailed him out. I've heard about bailouts earlier on, when I was coming up in my entrepreneurial journey. I'm just like, there's got to be something to this. So I just started seeking as much information as I could. And I realized there's this entire fucking world of business I never knew about, that the government's like, they're the biggest spender in the fucking
Ever.
world. They buy everything. So I pushed into that space and I didn't fucking look back. It is wild. But Elon and this fucking recession, or I don't even know if we're in one. I don't watch the fucking news,
I
but
think we're in one.
something. It's just like there's so much money out there though.
Right, there's so much money. I mean, let's actually talk about your story.
Dude, I got a wild story.
I'm a D1 baseball player though. Shout out.
So yeah, I played ball for my whole fucking life, dude. Injuries fucked that up. Actually, not even injury. I got in a really bad motorcycle accident. Motorcycle accident basically derailed my entire life, because my goal was literally, in my mind, I was a major league player, like, without question. I was going. I had my shot. Um, Injury after injury, after injury, and then that spiraled me out of control. I started drinking a lot. All I did was party. But it actually spawned into a company. So I ran a promotional company for some time. After that was kind of like my first journey. I built it to a 7-figure company. It was my first 7-figure company, and I tanked it, because I was literally in that business all the time. I was the face of the company. I was the face of the brand. So when I got big, I actually got a sponsorship. With that sponsorship, because I was always out in public, and this is back MySpace days, pushing MySpace. Facebook started getting big. Um, I basically was damaging my own brand, and they pulled my contract. So I lost my photographers. I lost pretty much all of it. So built this 7-figure company and tanked it, and had to go rebuild it. And it was literally the biggest. It's it's like watching. The only thing that I can compare it to is a fucking plant, because I don't want to talk about children or anything like that. But it's like watering this plant, and it just grows into this beautiful tree, and then, like, it's dying, but you just don't do anything. And that's what happened. So I had to literally cut this tree down and
How
replant
did
it,
you know it was dying?
because I was killing myself. Dude, I was literally 6, 7 days a week out in that business, but I wasn't in that business. I was the face. So everybody wanted to know, where were we going? What were we doing that night? And I was just drunk, drinking. Dude, I was a terrible, like, I was a really bad, angry person. Because after that motorcycle accident, and literally school was nothing for me, like, it just all went downhill. So I self-medicated and just fucking destroyed it. So after I built the company, it was the first time I actually came into money. So I realized, with the relationship that I had with myself at the time, and a bad relationship with money, you put those two things together, you give somebody that doesn't have a good relationship with themselves money, it was fucking terrible. It was literally a disaster. But I was doing it so well that I disguised myself behind it. So it became an identity that I can get away and get paid to get drunk and have a good time, and promote and push people, and ended up being the face and brand of basically a very bad lifestyle. It didn't work out. It was a shit show.
And so, but when did you lose the second one?
That was a couple years ago. So my real estate company, I built well, I shouldn't say so we. Um, so I got into the real estate space actually as a buyer originally. So I was in corporate America for 8 years. I was coming in to buy rental properties.
What'd you do in corporate America?
So I ran sales. So I actually, oddly enough, I was a mattress salesperson. I was selling mattresses for the one of the largest companies in the U.S. I actually ended up helping them acquire other companies. So I went from sales floor to district manager. At which point, I moved into acquisitions. So I helped them acquire a company called Sleepy's up in the Northeast. So I
Okay.
ended up traveling all over the U.S. to help them take on the real estate, take on the employees, and I saw the other side of corporate America. So it's like as sales, you can make a fuck ton of money. When I got into the other side where we were acquiring other companies, I loved it, but then I had to go and clean it all up. And when I had to clean it all up, it was telling people that, hey, you've been with this company that we just bought for 18 years. Thanks for your service. Get fucked. That's what it was. That was my job, dude. It was terrible. I literally had to tell these people like, "You've been here forever, but you don't work for this company anymore, and you ain't gonna work for us." So it sucked. It was terrible.
What?
Yeah, it was fun, dude. It was. I literally had to go and rip people's hearts out, and then travel back home and just hope I didn't get shot. It's fucking wild. So I left that company, but I left with so much knowledge on acquisition and wanting to acquire real estate. So I had a nice little nest egg. I went to go buy some real estate from somebody that actually doesn't live too far from me now. And instead of buying a deal from him, he was like, "Yo, I need some help acquiring. I know your story. Why don't you come, on this side? We'll be partners." So, first partnership did not work at all. It was just core aligned. My core values didn't line up. It was bad. But the
How
best
do
thing
you
ever.
find a good partner?
How do you find a good
How do
partner?
you find a good partner?
Dude, it's all core values. It all is core values. Like if you and I were to sit down and just have a serious conversation about family values, what do you do, in chaos? What do you do? Like just all of the different things that show you who Strat is. That's one thing. Another thing is, hey man, I enjoy our time together. We've had some great fucking times together. We vibe, we get along. That doesn't mean we're good partners.
Exactly.
So there's so many people, including myself, that went into a partnership with somebody because we liked them. Some of the best partnerships that I've had, I didn't necessarily like the person, like like I wanted to spend a bunch of time with them, but their core values and the way that they respond and the way that they handle themselves when shit was good and shit was bad is why we built successful companies. But
Talk about like what do you do in chaos? Nobody really talks about like most of the shit is just chaos all the time.
I think we operate in chaos 24/7, to be honest. It's just how we handle it. Dude, when shit hits the fan, like that's when you got to really pay attention, especially when you get into partnerships, kind of tie all that in together. Everything's great. When everybody's happy, everything's good. Everybody's just fucking going with the flow. The shit breaks and everything hits the fan. You got to watch. You got to open your eyes. You got to pay attention to how people respond. So as soon as things break, you have to embrace them. And the reason for that is one of two things. Or excuse me, the first reason you need to look at yourself first. You always have to look in the mirror first before you go to place blame. I've seen it with people that I've worked with. I've seen it with people that I worked for. And they're always looking to point the finger. Most times when shit hits the fan, it starts with you. If you're the leader of that company, if you're managing anybody, it starts with you. The second piece to all of it, to really just bring it in, is take a fucking step back and embrace it because there's a really, really good reason that this shit's happening. And why I say that, think of anything bad that's ever happened in your life. Any of it. Even some of the deepest shit, bro. Like the fucked up shit. We won't get in a psychology session here, but like the first heartbreak, hard as fuck, led you to whoever you're with now.
Exactly.
The first time you fucking lost money in business and had nowhere to turn, or the second time you lost money, third time you lost money in business. Every single time that shit breaks and hits the fan in a really fucking big way, which sometimes, dude, in business is weekly, it feels like.
Daily. Like, I mean, it could be daily, weekly. You could have a bad spurt.
Yeah.
A dude in the call today was talking about like rev dropped 60%
Oh yeah.
overnight,
Fuck, dude.
and
We
then
we
everybody just
we
got
hit
up,
38%. I freaked the fuck out. I couldn't imagine 60 right now.
right? I mean, you drop 60% for most businesses. If you, I
Uh,
mean, if our business dropped 60, bro, it'd go out of business.
Dude, every single time that I've ever heard somebody like the statement you just said, like we'd go out, most people are done. You know you'd find a fucking way.
I mean, you'd find I'm just doing math.
Oh yeah, dude, just poor math, 100%. Fucking game over without
You know
question.
what I'm saying? Like, fuck, bro, if we operated that, 60% is gone, blah, 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 overnight. It's a fuck ton of overhead. You know, that's what I'm doing. Like, man, like there would be layoffs. Like
Oh, without question.
there would be layoffs, right? I mean,
Dude,
it'd be a situation you don't want to be in.
what do you do when you gotta have a hard conversation with your team, your staff, anybody, partners?
Bro, I had to lay off. So we shut down a company. I had to lay off 4 people the other day. That
Mhm.
hurt. I fucking thought about it for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And then I just hopped on the phone, like, hey, I'm sorry, but this is what we got to do.
yeah,
Whatever you need, I'm still here. This is nothing personal. I mean, but it's for me, it was coming up with the delivery the right way. Cause like there's no good way to tell someone, hey, you're out of a job.
yeah.
Like, luckily for this one, we set them up with work as soon as we laid them off, so they're good.
Beautiful. That's
Um,
amazing.
right. I mean, just because I was like, yeah, if we're gonna do this, like that's what took it so long. So, all right, how am I gonna do this in a way to where their income just doesn't even go away? And so we set it up to where they were fine.
Right.
To where like it was like there was like no drop at ever. They just essentially work for a different company. Um, but I'd say thinking about it and then thinking of like the best possible way for it to go for both parties is generally what I go about for those hard conversations. For other hard conversations, I mean, I just call people out on their shit. Like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we need this and
So
you're here.
let me ask you a deeper question. So it's easy. I guess I shouldn't say it's easier. It's easier when you're dealing with staff. But what about a partner or what about your spouse?
Partner, bro, partner and spouse, it's fine. Partnerships are hard. With my spouse, we have such a open and like good relationship
Yeah.
as far as she calls me out on my bullshit all the time. And then if I have a problem, I can say something and it usually gets resolved within like 10 minutes.
So the reason I asked that is I literally was just coaching one of my students recently. He's freaking out. He's panicking about a conversation with his wife, and it blew my mind because this is somebody that runs such a tight ship in his business. Like he knows where every penny's at. He knows he runs a very efficient operation, but he's not efficient at home. And I was fucking lost. So it's been on my mind because like in my household, like we address everything immediately. Like there's a fucking house meeting like weekly. I need to make sure like I don't want to have the conversation a week later.
I don't want the fester, bro. The fester
Yeah.
makes it worse.
It's like spanking a dog for pissing on the floor last week. Like
Right?
let's just fucking knock it the fuck out. So he's panicking. I asked him the same question. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, how do you handle this situation if she worked for you? And he's like, well, I would do X, Y, Z. Why don't you do that with your fucking spouse? Like just have the conversation. It doesn't like it's not gonna go away. Have the fucking conversation.
That's the
Like,
hard part, bro. You think it's just gonna fucking go away.
I
Because
don't
like
understand.
I've let shit fester and on both sides and it never goes away. It just builds
Yep.
up.
Yep. Dude, that's what causes fucking stress. Like, that's like pulling this all back in, dude. Like when when I was losing that company, when I was killing that company and burning it to the ground, I was medicating, right? So when you realize that you get to choose how you deal with stress, like literally how you feel about stress. Stress can either be like, oh man, I'm so fucking stressed out, or it's like, yo, this is happening for me right now. Right now, all of this feelings, all of this amazing fucking drama, whatever you want to call it, is actually going to propel me forward. Literally just saying that, something so simple. Like it's literally just saying it. I'm not saying you got to go fucking scream from the rooftops, hey, I'm not stressed. Dude, I'm fucking stressed every day. But I know that it's for my betterment. It's for good. There's literally a fucking case study that's been done for the last 18 years that if you can literally just change the word, just the
Yeah.
words and the meaning that it'll reduce cortisol, it'll make your fucking heart better, like you'll live longer. So we get to fucking choose. So tying it all in when shit's going down, gotta have a tough conversation. It's like just hit it head on. Don't delay the shit. I'd rather get the shit out of the way so that I can go to sleep.
Right. But
I don't get it.
those hard conversations, I'd say, are leadership. I think is the number one skill you need to scale any company. I
I agree.
You can be as nerdy and as intelligent as you want, and it doesn't matter.
Agreed.
Eventually, you're gonna hit a point to where you're gonna need other people. End of story. Like you could code all the software in the world, but the richest people in the world talk on the phone with people.
So you're telling me there's no self-made millionaires?
There's self-made millionaires. I mean, you can for sure do
I don't
that.
think there is.
Oh, I mean, no one's self-made, bro.
That's
Nobody
what
is
I'm saying.
self-made.
I don't
Nobody's
think
self-made.
I think that everybody at some point needs somebody, and, like, I don't wanna make this whole thing about mentorship, dude, but, like, man, when I finally started investing in myself with other people and other people's knowledge and mentorship and getting in rooms, bro, like, that's when shit really took off. But for the longest time, I kept making the excuse, like, "Oh, I can't afford, to be in this room." Dude, you can't not afford to be in the room. You can't not afford to be on those calls or on those mentorships. It's
You can't.
fucking wild.
I remember joining the DM family. This was the mastermind that pushes me the most because, like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro, you got to pick your shit up. Like, we got to do a
Yeah.
lot more to fucking keep
Dude,
pace.
I remember talking to you about it before you came in. I was like, "Dude, fucking pull the trigger. What are you doing?"
Bro, I was like, oh my God, man. Like, I got to keep pace with this shit. But just
Yeah.
that alone is worth it. Of the anxiety to where you have to have a conversation with the same group of guys in a month. Like, all right, bro, where are you at now?
Yeah.
Has anything changed? Are you actually working on like getting this thing to the next level?
Bro, I came into the DM fam, like, 4 months before you. Like, it wasn't that long until
Yeah.
you came in. I literally sat for a day, stressed the fuck out. Same thing we were just talking about, like, I was mad stressed out, but I kept telling myself, "This is good stress, this is for me. I have to do this." I went to send the wire, so as soon as I clicked, confirm the wire, it said, "Are you sure?" I canceled the wire, bro. I canceled it. I was like, "I don't know if I'm sure or not. What am I gonna do?" So I fucking called Mark and I called DM and I'm like, "Dude, I know I need to send this money. I'm literally calling you to ask for permission." And he was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, I told him the whole story. I'm like, "Dude, it asked me if I was sure." And he was like, "Are you?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Then send the fucking wire." And I'm like, "All right, fuck it. I gotta send it." So I sent it, and bro, literally as soon as I sent it and I saw it leave the account, I forgot about it. But for like a solid 4 hours, dude, I was fucking I need to fucking do this, but I'm excited you're in, bro. I know that
That
you
was I had the same situation where I hit Marcus like, bro, that is because like we don't ever buy houses. All the houses we bought were sub two.
right.
My partner would handle all the private money. So like I didn't have to do any of that. I was like, bro, this is the biggest wire I've ever sent in my life. And there is
Yeah, dude.
absolutely nothing coming back from this. I'm not gonna get a monthly return. I'm not gonna get anything.
Yeah.
That's what I remember just like sitting there in the bank. I had to be in the bank for like 30 minutes of them asking me questions. Are you sure you want to send this wire?
This
I
is
was like,
fraud. Is somebody holding a gun to
yeah,
your
is
face?
this fraud? Where is it going? Who are you sending it to? What's it for? I was like, bro, just let me
Yeah.
send my money.
That's hilarious, bro. Yeah, I'll never forget, like, that literally when I changed or excuse me, when I sent the wire, I think it was like 36, maybe 48 hours later, I made it back. And Mark, like, he told me, bro, he was like, "Dude, when you do it and you commit and you see what's going on, like, you're just gonna work at a different pace."
The
And
mindset shift is insane, I would have to say.
yeah, without a question.
Number one, you're the type of person who can afford to do that. So you start seeing your own identity differently.
Right.
Like, so now you're a person who spends X amount of dollars on mentorship. And so like you're that fucking guy. That is an
Right.
automatic mindset shift. For me. And then what was the other thing that was big? It was like, again, like I gotta go make the money. And like
Yeah.
I'm this type of person now. Like for me, it was like an identity shift. It was like, no, I'm this type of person now. I need to operate differently.
Dude, for me, it was definitely I'm this type of person now, but I still went into that every time I go in there, I'm like, "Yo, I'm the smallest fish in here."
Oh, bro.
And dude, even if I was like in the middle of the pack, I'd be like, "I'm the smallest fish in there." It's just like every time I see like another level to the game as an athlete, as a competitive person, I'm just like, it's dude, I fucking thrive on that shit. I fucking love it. I love the fact that there's other people in there that are doing bigger shit, but more so than anything, they're like, "Yo, you're fucking up, dude." Like,
Right.
this is what you could be doing. Like, what the fuck are you wasting your time on? So, like, the fact that it's no fucking bullshit pound in your chest type like room, because I've been in the rooms where you're hoorahing and like celebrating. Like, it's cool to celebrate on the journey. Like, the journey's the best part. It's cool to celebrate, but at the same time, like, you're celebrating. But did you hit the goal? Did you hit, the target? Are you moving the target? Like, what does all that look like? That's the cool thing, is we get to celebrate together. We get to ride together and die together. And there's no fucking bullshit. You're not pulling your weight. You got to go.
Right. But I mean, that's been being the smallest person in the room. So in DM family, I feel like I'm for sure smallest, and then in Powerhouse, another mastermind when I'm in, it's an econ mastermind.
Mhm.
And just being the small, like you think completely differently because now like you see people doing things that are like you never even thought of. To like in the real estate space, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we do 6 figures a month." Like cool, but like that's like you're just getting started in business.
Yeah. Dude, I remember the first time I hit six figures, like six figures in a month. I literally like I went out, I was so pumped, and then I came home that night like drunk and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, bro?" Like that was my turning point. Like I hit six figures and I was like, "I fucking did it." And then I went and blew like 20 grand that night and I was like, "This is what you did last time. Stop." So I stopped. I fucking stopped,
Stop.
bro.
Stop.
But yeah, 100%. It was like, "Damn, you're doing it again." But I realized like it's not that much money. Like the first time I hit six figures in a month, I was like, I hit the target and I thought it was gonna be this big fucking massive
Parade.
celebration, and
Yeah, I
it was
wanted the
nothing.
parade,
Yeah.
all that shit.
It was like, how do I hit a mil a month? How do I hit 100 mil a month? Like so many different levels. But dude, it's it's not far fetched. That's what getting 100K a month taught me. Like it's not this crazy ass goal. Like it's not. It's within reach.
Yeah.
So when we start to say like, "Yo, how do you hit a mil a month?" If I don't necessarily need to do the same things that got me to 100,000 a month, but it's not that far away, and it's literally just it's around the corner. So it became real when I hit 100,000, and I think that's really where my shift came entirely.
I didn't start thinking until I met Mark and I met someone else to where they're like, yeah, so like the goal is $500 million.
Mhm.
And then I met two other dudes who were doing multiple hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And I was like, oh wow, like so they're like this is like completely different.
Yeah.
Like it's a completely different game of like of what you should be trying to play instead of like, oh yeah, we're gonna be $1 million company to where and all like that's like a blip
It is.
on the scale of business, bro. It's a blip.
Dude, I was chatting with one of the guys in our mastermind, last night. We were talking about some trying to make a move in Arizona on some stuff. So we're going back and forth, and he's like, "Yeah, I just secured 15 mil." And it didn't dawn on me until this morning, like 5 years ago, I'd have like, "Fuck, dude." Well, not even like 7, 10 years ago, I'd have been freaking the fuck out. Like, "Yo, this dude just got 15 mil." We're just like casually talking about it. It hit me this morning when I was going back through because I forgot to respond after our conversation.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Yo, congrats, that's awesome." But there's another one out there. So we were trying to go secure another contract for 17 mil. So it was like 15 mil didn't even phase me anymore. Whereas I like, dude, just like the mind shift has jumped leaps and bounds. But I still freak out when I got to go buy a plane ticket. But like, there's still those subtle things that are still in there. Like I was buying the tickets for the event that we're going to in Ohio. So I got my ticket. I'm all excited. I'm like,
You got your
cool.
tux yet?
No, I haven't even booked the fucking tux yet. Kim's been on my ass about that too. Get your tux, get your room, get your book, all this shit. So I'm like booking the ticket, and I forgot I needed to book my wife's ticket and my son's ticket. So like now my price is tripled, and I was like 2 3 minutes of like bitching him and Han. I'm like, yo, I can do this. Like, chill out. But it's still like the old Ken was like trying to like come out like, yo, panic, freak the fuck out. You're spending a lot of money. I'm not though. It's an experience. It's
It's
worth
an
it.
experience. So what was your second business that you tanked?
It was the real estate company. That one, dude, I fucking did everything right. I literally did everything right. Like it
Obviously
pained
not.
me. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. So how many times do we say that? Like, man, if I would have done this, or I did everything, I did that. Like that's the mindset I was in. So I did everything right. So I built this entire real estate company and brand on being this nomad. Like I go wherever I want, do whatever I want with whoever I want. But I was doing a real estate company in Florida and Michigan, entirely remote. I've never been to that state till this day. One of the girls that works with me still lives out there. So we were doing this whole remote company. We're buying rentals, building lots. We were doing all kinds of stuff. At our height, we did $317,000 at the height. One of our months, that was our best month. Um, built. The way that I did this, everybody was pulling all the same data. So I ended up going and backdooring into the city from a data perspective. I got in with some of the individuals that had a lobbyist out there. I got all of the data from everybody that was going to be in the auction before the auction list came out. So I literally had the keys to the city.
Oh
I
wow.
knew everybody that was going to be out there. So I built this entire company and saw the gold because I had something that nobody else had, and I got greedy. I just focused on it. That's all I did. I forgot all the other aspects of my business. I stopped marketing because I didn't need to. This pot is never going to run out. Instead of buying as much as I could or securing as much cash flow as I possibly could, I wholesaled and built as fast as I fucking could. That lasted 2.5 years, and they changed the entire auction system in the back end, and my business stopped immediately. Then I had to go and scramble, and I had money to spend.
Yeah.
I had to go and scramble, so I just started dumping money in every aspect. Text campaigns, cold call campaigns, direct mail campaigns. They all fucking work. All of them work if you go deep enough. I was in a fucking panic because my business just came to a fucking halt. But I did everything right. I've got the money now. Bam, 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 bam. Dude, just dropping money everywhere. And I fucking tanked it. I literally, it took yeah, just about 9 months. Fucking drove it into the ground. So I had to take a step back. I like the girl that works with me today, her name's Meeks. Um, she has literally been through fucking hell with me. And it's crazy because Mark actually is the reason that I have her. She was working for me before I could pay her. Mark was like, dude, you gotta fucking take care of this chick. So he hooked it up. He helped me out to keep her. When I tanked that company, I knew I couldn't fucking let her down. I knew I couldn't let my family down, my wife down, all the things, but I couldn't let her down. And I couldn't let Mark down. I couldn't let the people down that I had been talking to, like this big game, like they saw this come up. And I was so fucking ashamed that that shame actually is the reason and the driving force that made me a better husband, a better friend, a better person all around. Because I, in that humility, I knew like this is like the final piece to all of this fucking chaos that I've created for myself. So I started becoming extremely efficient in marketing, extremely efficient in systems, processes, operations, everything. So that instead of being in my business to go and build that multiple seven figure business, on because I found a loophole, I found the trick. I was still the business. Me and Meigs were still the business. If I would have systematized, automated that, and kept the rest of my business running the way that got us there, that thing would have still been crushing because I didn't need it. But instead, I got laser focused on something that was going to dry up. So I tanked that company. I tanked it twice. I pulled out of Michigan, went into Florida. I did like 640,000 in Florida. And then I was like, I'm so done with real estate. I make more money. That's when I started to explore and really understand how money worked. And I
Mhm.
just realized I was making way more money in other fields. Real estate gave me my start, but I was done with it. I killed it. Well, I didn't kill it. We still have it, but um, I only talk to the guy once a week that runs it.
Oh, that's amazing. So how did you get through those big tankings, dude?
Honestly, man, 18-hour days. I didn't dude, it got so bad I wasn't getting haircuts. I was like fucking peanut butter jelly, 18 hours. It got really dark, bro, to be honest. I'll never forget sitting in my office just going in on myself, dude. Like I didn't want to wake my wife up, so I was just sitting in my office and I had at the in my old house, smaller house, I had a bed right next to my desk. And I just put my face in that bed and fucking lost my mind. How the fuck did you do this? How the fuck did you get here? And I was so mad because I did it again. Like I swore back then I would never
Yeah.
be in that situation, so I fucking did it again. And dude, I'm no lie, I cried my fucking eyes out. I was so angry at myself for going through that. And then I literally just sat there and I took all that anger and I was like literally it was like pressing a button, dude. I got it all out. I cried, I screamed, I was so fucking angry, and then I sat back at my desk and I got to fucking work. I didn't go to sleep that night. I literally stayed up until like 11 the next day until I ended up passing out. And then I just worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. It took 90 days to get out of it. And we wholesaled out and never ever looked back. It was it was the hardest fucking time of my life so
What was
far.
your what was your biggest learning lesson from that?
The biggest fucking lesson, dude, is like I can't be involved, honestly. Um, I was so involved in every aspect of that company that it was killing me. Um, I wasn't enjoying my life. I had so much money, the most money I'd ever made in my life. I still had opportunities to grow and to take care of investors and people that invested in me. But I was in it so much because it was my baby, and I was so scared to lose it that I lost it. So the lesson was that I needed to take a step back and enjoy everything, bro. Something as silly as like sitting in the fucking grass, dude. Like I was serious, like just serious, like walking outside and seeing like, yo, like my wife is healthy, I still have my parents, my children are healthy, like. But I was, dude, 18 hours a day. What are you fucking doing?
Well, the
Like
hard
it takes that.
I don't know, bro. In real estate, does it really take 18 hours a day to scale a wholesaling company? No.
No, but when you dude, I owed a lot of people a lot of money.
Okay.
So it
You're gonna do
was
whatever it takes.
yeah, you had to get out of that shit. It was bad. But we got out. There's still there's still two that luckily just through good faith and keeping the doors open and lines of communication open, were taken care of. They were my biggest guys, but they saw it happen.
Really?
Dude, yeah, it
How
was
did they
bad.
handle that, and how did you handle that conversation with them?
They were the first people that I called. As I started to see it happening, I warned them and I let them know anything that it takes, whatever it takes. Dude, I'll never forget. Um, there was like a couple weeks that went by, but I was always updating. Like, here's where we're at. Here's where I'm at. Here's where cash flow's at. Here's where assets are at. Um, there was a week I sent $100 just to be like, here it is. Like every fucking thing, anything that I can. Just here's this is all I got. Here it is. It was $100. I mean, I had more money, but that's all I could give them
Yeah.
to make sure that I could eat. But they handled it so well. But I think it was because I didn't shy from it. Like I took that shit head on. I took it right on the chin. I fucked it up. Here's the situation. Here's what I'm doing. So I kept them updated through the whole process.
Cool. And if you look at what is it like on America's whatever most scammers, the number one thing that happens is that all these big scams just stem from lack of
They stopped.
communication.
They stopped talking, bro.
They stop talking.
That's it. That is it. That's what I was saying earlier, man. Like when you have to when shit hits the fan, that's when I pay attention the most. And I'm not looking for another reason, but I'm looking to see everybody that I'm riding with who's shutting down. for two reasons. One, can I help them through it? Because maybe they've never been through it the way that we have.
Yep.
Or two, was this a snake the whole time? So I'm going through it right now with one of my companies, and I'm paying very close attention to the individuals that are over there because there's some concern, but hopefully they do the right thing. I'm here if anything, but you see who people really are when shit hits the fan, dude. When it gets ugly.
It's you don't think about it until you've like gone through it. Like, bro, how can you handle the minutia, the bullshit, the getting
Mhm.
kicked in the balls?
Yeah,
Because again, nobody ever talks about this in business. I swear to God. Like on a lot of the content that like goes like really big, like nobody's really talking like, nah, bro, like you're gonna for the rest of your life, you chose a path where you're just gonna get punched in the throat
yeah,
like probably every 2 weeks.
dude. What's wild? Like my Instagram reels or Facebook reels or even like my TikToks, the ones
They're
that have
popping off,
really
bro. I
the
saw them.
ones
They're
that
popping off.
yeah, no, I've got some videos that are popping hard, but the ones that are hitting aren't the most valuable ones. Like the real values in the fuck ups, the failures, how we overcome them. The ones that they're popping off are like the dumbest shit. It's like the hoorah, like I don't know, it blows my mind. And I don't know that there's no real way to prepare. Like you can mentally like you can go through things to try to prepare yourself, but when it hits, you don't know how you're gonna respond. Like the initial hit of some really fucked up shit, that first 5 minutes, you can't control that. At
Right.
least if you can, I'm not there yet.
Well,
After
Gavin.
5 minutes, I got it. But the first five, no, dude. I'm shutting everything down. I'm firing everybody. I'm fucking divorced. Fucking sell it all. 6 minutes, I'm like, baby, I love you. You're not fired. Everything's good. But the first five, dude, no matter how many books I've read, motivational mentorship, dude, I literally had to replace the steering wheel in my truck not too long ago. I was on the phone with Mark when I found out that my partner was stealing. I called him. I didn't have anybody to call. I was going to pull over. I was on the road when I saw the bank account get depleted. And I'm just on the phone with him. And I'm like, I don't know who to fuck to talk to, dude. What do I do? And I just went to fucking town on my fucking steering wheel in my truck. And he's like, dude, at least you caught it now. And it wasn't hundreds of millions of dollars. Like
And
it
that's your
was,
only solace. That's your
yeah,
only solace.
that was it. But dude, after I was done, like I was more of, I could give a fuck that the guy stole the money from me. I was more pissed off at how I responded. Like that stuck with me more than the fact that this guy fucked me. I'll make the money back. And I learned a lesson early. Like I didn't have to deal with this guy for fucking 10 years and then have it.
And
Like
then and he's stealing money throughout the whole time, and then he fucks you
right.
over for a big chunk.
Yep. So I was more pissed off about the first 5 minutes of how I handled it. So to your point though, like nobody pays attention to that shit, dude. Like everybody's talking about the wins. Like I think the real win and the real flex is how you overcame the fucked up shit.
Right? It comes at every level though. Like everyone hits a new point, and then there's a new devil. New point, new
Oh,
devil. Like new levels, new devils, but like you're still gonna hit some really, really bad points where shit just happens.
yeah. Without question, dude. I mean, again, you can prepare for it, but going through it by yourself is not the
No,
way.
that's not it. It's not it.
No, no way. Dude, like that's another piece to like being in these rooms. Like I've cracked the joke, a few times like you guys are just as fucking crazy as I am. It's
Exactly.
it's like we're not crazy when we're together because now we're in a room with crazy people. So we're the normal ones. But like to society, we're the fucking crazy like, damn, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's why I'm doing it. Because you wouldn't. So not having to go through that chaos by yourself and being able to reach out to somebody and be like, yo, I'm going through some really fucked up shit in my business, or maybe not even business, just in general, and being able to talk through it with somebody that's been there, that's the move. But I'm not going to go talk to my wife about some crazy fucked up shit that she may not understand. Like, I'll let her know some shit's going on, but I'm not going to go
Yeah.
hard into, my EBITDA. She's like, what the fuck is that? Did you say M&M? What? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to call, somebody that gets it. It's like, it's almost like taking somebody overweight to the buffet. It's like, hey, I'm going to help you go on a diet. Sit at this buffet. You don't do that. So it's the same thing with this type of shit. Like, I'm not going to go talk to somebody that has no fucking clue what I'm talking about. So you can't go through it by yourself. But I think that's the only thing that you could do to prepare, bro, at the end of the day.
I think I've been thinking about this because I came to a realization a couple months ago, like, wow, this never stops. No matter what I do, this will never stop. It's like the only way it stops is if you sell. And the only time it's ever worth selling is if it's at a massive multiple. And then if it's ever at a massive multiple, is it really worth selling? Because it's a really, really good business that'll just cash flow you forever. And what are you going to do with the money anyways?
Will it though? Like if it will cash flow you and you don't have to, like, you can be a board member of that company instead of.
Exactly. Like I'm talking like you build it out to where you're a board member. What's the reason in selling? I was reading like a Michael Masterson book, like Ready, Fire, Aim, like the road to 100 million.
Yeah.
And he was like, I mean, all of these things that you go through are only temporary up until you get to a point to where, like, let's say you're at 40 and above. At that point, you're a board member.
Right.
Like 40 million and above, then you can like truly step into like a board member seat if you really want to. And it can grow on your own because you can afford really, really good talent. But then at that point, why would you sell? What would you do with the money? You'd go fucking buy more companies.
Dude, you know what's wild to me? Have you ever read damn, I was just talking about this with somebody the other day. It's a Tony Robbins book. Money Master the Game.
I've never read it.
Okay. That book, it's a phenomenal book. Anybody that needs help financially just to understand how money works and how they can literally live for free the rest of their fucking lives, grab that book. It's so crazy because there's so many people that think in order to live financially free, never have to work a day in your life again, they think they need 10 million, 20 million, 30 million dollars. Maybe at a particular place in your life, like if you would have had that conversation with me 10 years ago, I'd be like, I need 20 million. Then I hit a mill and I was like, I don't really need 20 million, but at a mill, I'm still broke. Because you make more money, your lifestyle changes a little bit. So if somebody's just getting started, like that book is great. But if you've never read it and you're already started, you're in the game, like that's the move. So all that to say this, 40 mil, you don't need 40 mil, but at the end of the day, what you can do, who you can impact, how you can serve, and how you can grow
Right.
it is way fucking different than needing it. So there's a massive difference. So what you're saying is, why would I sell it? And I think that there may be somebody that watches this and like, why the fuck wouldn't you sell it? Like, it's not about the money at that game, dude. It doesn't have shit to do with that.
Even for financial wise, right? If you wouldn't even if you do sell it, it's shooting off so much cash flow. Financially, it doesn't make sense return wise to sell it based off of the
Right.
impact you could probably make, unless you're an amazing capital allocator. Like everybody's problem at that stage is, what the fuck? How do I allocate this capital the right
Yeah.
way?
What do I do with
Like
it?
in all aspects, charity wise, business wise, like all that stuff.
Yeah. I'd be curious. We should talk about this with the guys in a couple of weeks when we see them. I'm really curious to see what the different answers are to that. Because for me, I've sold one company and I was like upset after I sold it. I realized, like, one, I didn't have anything to do. Two, I was lost. And I
Exactly. Like, what are you got to have something lined up or you're going to kill yourself. And
yeah,
that's my, like,
yeah,
straight up.
people need purpose, man. You take a man's purpose away, or any person for that matter, they lose purpose, dude. You have nothing, nothing. And at the time, that was all I knew. It was fucking. I spiraled.
Exactly.
So you gonna sell it? You keeping it?
I'm not selling it. I honestly shouldn't have said that on live air, bro. It's really, really bad.
You're talking about the real estate company.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Any parting words?
No, man. I'd love to do it again, brother. I appreciate it a ton. And I mean, if I had to leave anybody with anything, man, it would just be don't go through this shit by yourself and fucking pay attention. There's
Where
so
can
much
people
going
find
on
out
right
more
now.
about you?
So I'm on IG at official Ken Abdula, first and last name at official Ken Abdula. I'm big on TikTok, same thing, official Ken Abdula, and I'm here to help any way that I can. If I can help you cash flow, that is my thing. I help people earn passive income.
We'll prosper up. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Winning Move Podcast. I hope it helps you make all the right moves in your life and business. Please make sure to go like and subscribe on any podcast platform that you're listening to, and make sure to go follow me on Instagram @StratDaddy. Thank